Another day of battling a fever. Let's get right into it. Reddit will tighten verification to keep out human-like AI bots. I've talked about the dead internet theory. The internet's been dead since 2016 and how that argument carries a bit of water. But this is Reddit taking an actual stance to prevent what possibly could be a dead internet, or the propagation, rather, of a dead internet. Jokes aside, AI bots permeate social media, whether it be on TikTok, X, formerly known as Twitter, or Reddit. It's a big problem. And Reddit is using verifications to make sure it doesn't have as much AI bots on its systems. What are these verifications like? Redditors around the world were scandalized. Wow, what happened last week? After learning that a team of researchers released a swarm of AI-powered human impersonating bots on the Change My View subreddit. This large-scale experiment was designed to explore just how persuasive AI can be. Okay, that is terrifying. I feel like, well, obviously you want a blind study here. You can't give people the disclaimer that, hey, we are about to release some AI agents amongst you, and we're trying to test how persuasive these agents are going to be. The only way to conduct such an experiment is to go into it blind. The bots posted over 1,700 comments, adopting personas like abuse survivors or controversial identities like an anti-Black Lives Matter advocate. Who conducted this experiment? This is bold as heck. Also, I'm very curious to know what kind of models they trained these AI agents on, or what kind of models were powering these AI agents, because you can't just get, I don't know, GPT 4.0 to pretend to be an anti-BLM activist. Anyway, maybe maybe they used Grok 3. Who knows? For Reddit, the incident was a mini nightmare. Reddit's brand is associated with authenticity, a place where real people come to share real opinions. I can imagine Reddit being super pissed about this experiment being conducted amongst them, but it's still Reddit's fault for not having the checks and balances in place to prevent this kind of impersonation. If that human-focused ecosystem is disturbed with AI slop or becomes a place where people can't trust that they're getting information from actual humans, it could do more than threaten Reddit's core identity. Well, no she's, Sherlock. Reddit's bottom line could be at stake since the company now sells its content to OpenAI for training. Now, that's been a problem. That's been a bit of a background problem because these models are growing at such an alarming rate and they're ingesting these troves of massive amounts of data, we're running out of human generated data that has a human footprint really fast. So we're at a point where we're training latest AI models on synthetic data that's been generated by AI. But at least you have that label that this isn't a human generated piece of data point. And Reddit's partnership with OpenAI may be threatened if there's a lot of bots generating AI slop without the appropriate labels. Company condemned the inappropriate and highly unethical experiment. Damn right, it is pretty highly unethical, and filed a complaint with the university that ran it. What university was bold enough to run this? But the experiment was only one of what likely will be many instances of generative AI bots pretending to be humans on Reddit. Okay, so what is Reddit doing to prevent this? The company's quietly signaled an upcoming action, one that may be unpopular with users who come to Reddit for another reason, anonymity. Ooh, okay. Um, Reddit CEO Steve Huffman shared in a post that Reddit would start working with various third-party services to verify a human's identity. Well, which is fine. You can still be anonymous, but you can verify before you enter the platform to the system Reddit that you're a human. You don't have to reveal who you are and the fact that you're a human to other Redditors. To keep Reddit human and meet evolving regulatory requirements, we are going to need a little more information, Huffman wrote. Specifically, we will need to know whether you're a human and in some locations if you are an adult, but we never want to know your name or who you are. I think that's fine. People shouldn't get pissed about that. You can still be anonymous if you're revealing to the system certain information about your age, like do some tests to prove that you're a human. Even do an ID-based verification. Like you're not going to post and share the ID with all of the platform users of Reddit. Okay, let's. What are the opponents of ID check saying? Data privacy issues and security risks to sharing your personal information with social media platforms. I mean, yes, social media platforms historically don't have the best record of protecting personal and sensitive information, so there's always that risk, um, right? Especially true for a platform like Reddit, where people come to post experiences that they maybe never would have if their names were attached to them. This is part of what makes Reddit super authentic. And, like you could also look to other platforms like Blind. The kind of professional interactions people have on Blind are unimaginable at a platform like LinkedIn, where your name and identity is tied to the things you say. It's a very curated persona that you embellish and sell and propagate on LinkedIn. But platforms like Reddit and Blind allow for that true authenticity, where people aren't expected to be mean and hateful, but they can be controversial without repercussions or without fear of being canceled and whatnot. Well, I think as long as Reddit is ensuring that authorities cannot subpoena Redditors for sharing experiences like, oh, like abortion experiences on, oh wow, that's airy one, right? Because obviously if there's boasts about certain individuals threatening to do self-harm or carry out, I don't know, uh, like activities that massively impact other individuals, I don't know, like going on like an unaliving spree and stuff like that. Reddit should absolutely flag that down and get the appropriate authorities involved. But does that also extend to more controversial, maybe even philosophical differences that have been codified into law at a state level? For example, abortion laws. Do women get penalized, or is there a risk of being doxxed for women who are sharing their abortion-related experiences? Which I'm sure, like Reddit can position itself as a impromptu support group for a lot of these experiences. Pretty tricky. But hey, I still think that Reddit should do what it needs to do to prove that individuals signing on and using their platform are humans, but don't give them up. Don't dox them if third parties come in knocking on your doors, right? That's fair. Moving on. Instacart launches Fizz, a new app for ordering drinks and snacks for parties. Well, this is a simple tech platform expansion media piece. It's hard to integrate liquor sales because you have certain licensures getting involved. But I don't know about you guys. I use Instacart all the time. It is one of the most convenient um, delivery-based ordering service ever. I mean, I use Instacart a lot more than I use Grubhub, and I never feel, or Uber Eats, and I never feel that associated guilt or remorse after the fact when you put an order on Grubhub or Uber Eats, right? Instacart, you're ordering healthy stuff, and you're saving yourself so much time and headache. But what are they doing to make the platform better? New drinks and snack delivery app called Fizz. So it's a separate app, 21 plus app, obviously, because drinks is built for friends and family. I wonder if this is like GoPuff, where they're going to be bringing you snacks in the middle of the night for your late night munchies. The host of a party can invite guests into their Fizz cart to allow everyone to choose what they want to bring to the gathering. The app aims to eliminate the headache of splitting the bill, which, okay, this is a pretty awesome innovation. So it's not just you um, ordering something for yourself. You can open up the cart, share the cart like you would a Spotify collaborative jam session, and everybody could put in the orders, and they could pay for the orders. That's pretty cool. It's becoming more and more common where people gather that they share in contributing to what it takes to put together a party, but then they do this kind of bill splitting thing. Daniel Dunker, Instacart's chief product officer, told TechCrunch. Afterwards, they open up Venmo and they kind of divide up the cost. Venmo's not going to be happy about this, but here we go. And while we think that that's great, certainly better than a more manual way of doing it in the past, we actually think that there's an opportunity to just completely eliminate the step and make it ever more effortless. So Fizz isn't just like an alcohol and snacks delivery platform. This is more like a party provisioning platform, right? You share the responsibility of provisioning the party, getting party favors and drinks and snacks and whatnot specifically for get-togethers. I think that's a pretty cool idea. Good job, Instagram. And good job on keeping this 21 plus. Kids can't arrange parties anyway. Okay, so what do we have next? Unblocked raises 20 million for AI to help devs understand code bases. Is this a regression? Because I thought we were moving in the direction of having users just prompt AI and AI build out the entire code bases. Obviously, in the interim, there's going to be a lot of code bases that are human written. AI can parse it and AI can add to it, but that's a bit more risky because you're also giving AI the ability to just do away with chunks of code. And in the event that it misunderstands what your instructions are, it can do away with a pretty critical piece of code, a pretty critical module. I do think this is a pretty good offering. Let's read into it a bit more before we share our thoughts on this. Every developer has their own unique style of writing code. Duh. Despite companies establishing best practices and drawing up documentation, it can be hard for developers to understand somebody else's code base. Absolutely, 100% agree. You can be extremely senior, you can be a very, very experienced developer, but the bottleneck in going through a code base, going through all the documentation is still going to be there. It's a pretty messy process. You can be, especially if the documentation is not well organized, right? Or if the documentation is non-existent, it's a very annoying problem. So Dennis Pilorinos built a tool called Unblocked, an AI-powered assistant that answers contextual questions about lines of code. Well, Copilot does it for you. What's so special about this? Pilorinos is a seasoned professional at building developer tools. He has worked as a director of Microsoft and Amazon, working on Azure and Amazon Web Services, both very, very, very beefy applications. Later, Pilorinos built a continuous integration platform for remote teams called BuddyBuild, which was acquired by Apple in 2018. That's pretty bold. I mean, Apple has one of the most strictest build processes, I imagine. They don't just willy-nilly change up their software development process. So for them to buy up a third-party CI CD platform and integrate it into their processes is huge. And he worked for Apple for around 2 years on the Xcode cloud platform. Developers trying to get the information they want is quite painful and time-consuming. Pilorinos told TechCrunch in a phone interview, "We wanted to use all the data, code, and tribal knowledge of conversations to present developers with easy answers." Operative term here being tribal knowledge. There is so much tribal knowledge or silos of knowledge that are captured in Slack conversations, in random Jira tickets, in even Teams messages, in obscure, stale Confluence docs that is very difficult for a human agent, a developer, to peruse and find and stumble upon. If an AI agent can just scrawl all of those documents and tell me exactly what to look at before I start writing my code, that's super helpful. I see why they deserve the 20 million. But I want to say that speaks to the fact that the venture capital community still believes that human developers are going to be contributing code in the very near and even the not so distant future, right? There's hope for humanity after all. Okay, on to more exciting non-hardware and software-based tech news. BioWare. Future House previews an AI tool for data-driven biology discovery. Future House. What do you guys do at Future House? Ooh, okay. Eric Schmidt, one of the founders of Google, backed this nonprofit that aims to build an AI scientist within the next decade. There is a hotbed of innovation in terms of these AI personas, these technical AI personas. I think obviously the most common and the most lauded one are these AI-powered software engineers. There's AI-powered lawyers. There's AI-powered transcribers. And now we have an AI-powered scientist. Obviously, there's these frontier models that are getting better and better at answering PhD level questions. But for you to be innovative, for you to be a scientist, for you to ask questions that are intuitively inaccessible to the everyday person is a very hard task. So what is this scientist persona going to look at? Within the next decade, has released a new tool that claims it can support data-driven discovery in biology. The new tool comes just after a week after Future House. My reading is absolutely just stumbling in my mouth right now. Again, I still have a cold, still battling this fever. Hopefully we come back 100% next week. A week after Future House launched its API and platform, the tool called Finch takes in biology data primarily in the form of research papers and a prompt, for example, what can you tell me about molecular drivers of cancer metastasis? And runs code before generating figures and inspecting the results. In a series of posts on X, Future House co-founder and CEO Sam Rodriguez compared it to a first-year grad student. Okay, so we're setting the expectations fair, right? I mean, we're not calling it a PhD graduate that is ready to publish papers. First-year grad students, like unless you're exceptional, you're not first authoring papers. You're helping in the publication of papers. And that is what this tool is going to be. It's going to be an assistant in your endeavors to publish papers. Being able to do all this in minutes is a superpower, 100%, Rodriguez wrote. Finch actually ends up finding some really cool stuff. For our own projects internally, we have found it to be pretty awesome. That's pretty exhaustively descriptive. Okay, Future House's proposition, like that of many, many startups and tech giants, is that Finch and other AI tools will someday automate steps in the scientific process. Key detail here, I think if you're trying to automate steps in any process, you have to first break it down into clearly laid out steps and you identify the process. I think the scientific process is fairly well laid out. There's a grant application, Then there's the I guess the research, the experimentation, then there's the paper writing, and then there's the publication phase. I think you can break up the paper writing and the research and the experimentation phase into more steps. So you're really going to need a partner who's worked in the academic space doing research at prestigious research institutions to help you give insight into what the different steps in this process are. But yeah, I can absolutely see some of these steps being automated. In an essay earlier this year, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said superintelligent AI tools could massively accelerate scientific discovery and innovation. Similarly, the CEO of Anthropic, which just this week launched an AI for Science program, has boldly predicted that AI could help formulate cures for most cancers. That's a super bold claim. I don't know if I could, I don't know if I mean, they're going to help for sure. They're going to be great tools in very much the same way as, like supercomputers in doing simulations and running simulations for research labs has helped. Um, but I think to assume that these AI agent personas who are AI scientists are going to be coming up with all these cures for most cancers wholly on their own is definitely a stretch. Yet evidence is lacking. Many researchers don't consider AI today to be especially useful in guiding the scientific process. They can't guide the scientific process. They can aid a step in said scientific process. Yes, they definitely can't take charge. First-year grad students, if that's the benchmark, should not be guiding the scientific process. Tellingly, Future House has yet to achieve a scientific breakthrough or make a novel discovery with its AI tools. I guess we'll come back to this piece the day we have a scientific breakthrough come out of Future House, but we're keeping an eye on you, Future House. Good job so far. What do we got here? Real life Robocop, humanoid robot deployed for police in China. Yeah, China is absolutely unhinged with this. They are rolling out all of these AI innovations um, without doing, I guess, a citizens poll to see if this is going to be okay for its people. I mean, China already was doing a lot of surveillance and using facial recognition technology to sort of automatically prosecute people who are committing crimes, which absolutely would not float well at all in the Western world. So I guess that's why China is able to get away with innovations, rolling out innovations like humanoid police robots. In Shenzhen, China, a humanoid robot was deployed for the first time to patrol public areas, help locate missing children, and assist tourists. The worst thing that a missing child would want to come across is a robot that tries to re-abduct them and take them back to the police station. I don't know, maybe that works. However, public reactions to the robotic patrol have been largely critical. Understandably, this is very bold. Humanoid robots have already shown off skills like Kung Fu and even completed a half marathon, and now they may soon be wearing police uniforms. In the Chinese city of Shenzhen, a humanoid police robot has gone on active patrol for the first time, called PMO-1 and developed by Engine AI. Some of the other robotics companies in China include Unitree, which I've been monitoring pretty closely. They make the robot dog and the actual humanoid robots, comparable to Boston Dynamics' humanoid robot form factor, and Figure AI, based in the US. Engine AI, the robot was introduced to the public as part of a broader initiative to use robotics in support of public safety, standing 4 feet 7 inches tall and weighing 88 pounds. I could take this guy on. That's easy. All right, you should have started with that. I guess if your RoboCop robot is like a 4 foot nothing weighing 88 pounds, I could do takedowns, toss it around, dude. I don't know. Maybe I could barbell curl this guy. Does it have firearms on it? What are the weapons we got on this guy? PM1 is designed to assist officers with everyday tasks such as monitoring public spaces and helping tourists. Oh, this guy's friendly. This guy's got no weapons on him. All he's got is a vest, a walkie-talkie, and like 88 pounds of body weight on him. I could take this guy on any day. Yeah, that's not intimidating at all. PMO-1 isn't an autonomous enforcer, but rather a support system designed to assist police in routine duties. Wearing a bright vest like human officers, the robot is powered by industrial-grade actuators and features a 360 degrees rotating hip. That is a lot of motion. That is more motion than the human body is capable of at the waist, allowing it to scan its surroundings without moving its feet. Why not just turn your head, bro? Like turning your head 360 degrees if all you want to do is scan your surroundings. I guess if you want the quick robot arm access to whatever you're seeing behind you, a hip rotation makes sense. Um, Equipped with facial recognition and microphones that understand both Mandarin and Cantonese, PM01 can greet passers-by, report lost children, and relay suspicious activity to a central control unit. These robots be snitching, yo. These robots be snitches. Anyway, dude, if I'm trying to do something illicit and this robot comes on to me, I could take this thing down. I could shove this in a dumpster. I'm not, yeah, whatever. I'm not worried. A YouTube video even shows the robot performing a forward somersault, adding a touch of flair to its capabilities. That's pretty cool. Do we want to see this happen? Let's see this happen. Wow, that's a tiny robot. Where's the somersault? Do the somersault. Empty head. All right, we're not gonna see the somersault. Anyway, oh, there's the somersault video. Let's take a look. Oh, wow, I skipped over it. Let's see it. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. Yo, that's pretty impressive, dude. I mean, these robots aren't doing like white belt level kung fu stuff. This is advanced stuff. This is pretty cool gymnastics. All right, Engine AI, I'm keeping my eye on you. Very, very impressive stuff. Keep your robot small and short. Like if I saw like a 6 foot something weighing 200 pounds do that, I'd be very terrified. Keep him small. Yeah. All right, we're gonna end on a bit of a downer note. The decline of a once proud giant, Facebook. Leaked meta documents confirm what users have long felt about Facebook, that it is a dying social media platform. You didn't hear it first from me. Meta, the parent company of Facebook, is currently grappling with an antitrust investigation led by the US FTC, which has forced the company to release some internal documents. These documents reveal an anxious Meta concerned about the decline of Facebook, particularly its fading popularity among younger audiences. I mean, you didn't need to point your finger to a document for people to open their eyes to this reality. Facebook has not really been keeping up with the times. It's been lapped around by Instagram, it's been lapped by TikTok. This isn't news, but it's, I guess, like some form of closure to see Facebook's own internal team be looped in to this fact. Facebook struggles from trendsetter to grandparent of social media. Gone are the days when Facebook used to be a trendsetter, but once the uncontested leader of social networking, Facebook now finds itself in an uncomfortable position looking more like the grandparent of social media platforms. While it is far from the disastrous downfall of MySpace, its image has become outdated. Despite still broadcasting a large number of active users, the platform suffers from a reputation that no longer appeals to the younger generations. I think if there's a turnaround, like there's a lot of active users for this generation, but this is definitely an existential threat for Facebook because the generational turnaround happens fast, right? Well, fast in relative time scale. The rise of newer social networks, especially those focused on content consumption like video content, and the influence of social media personalities has left Facebook feeling less relevant as a place for casual social interaction. Numerous studies have shown that Facebook's popularity among young users has dropped significantly, with Meta itself acknowledging this trend. This platform, once buzzing with college students and young adults, is increasingly being used by an older demographic. Um, yeah, I mean, an older demographic also has deeper pockets, so Facebook ads are still fairly effective if you're trying to, like look at the company as uh, what it's supposed to do best in terms of making money. I mean, in terms of converting ads, I think Facebook still has quite a bit of a reach. Meta's been grappling with how to reinvigorate Facebook since at least 2022, as confirmed by the leaked documents. These internal communications highlight the growing concern among company's leadership about Facebook's waning appeal, especially to younger users. Meta's efforts to reposition the platform and restore its relevance in an era dominated by content creators and influencers have met limited success. This is the era of influencers. This is the era where the Paul brothers get an HBO produced show and it's going to get streamed in the millions, right? Influencers command the attention of eyeballs. Facebook is not the place for influencers. Facebook is more the place where you have tight knit circles, where you mostly are cared about what's going on in the feeds of your friends and whatnot. So yeah, I don't think Facebook really has a surviving chance in this dogfight. Well, that's it, everybody. My sinus is starting to act up again. It's also a natural end to the stream for today. Thank you so much for those of you, for the maybe one or two people that signed in. I'm going to keep doing this every weekday.